Let's go. Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming and listening to probably my dribble. But I am Josh Robson. I'm not Sandy from Polygon. I'm not Vitalik from Ethereum, and I'm not the legend that is Andy Graham from Manchester Web3. But I am a lad from Newcastle. I was adopted in Manchester for the last 4 years. A 2-week old father. So I am a little bit tired. I've probably been living off about 2 hours worth of sleep. So if I'm gripping on coffees later instead of pints, do you know why? But I am really proud of what my team's built, which is IG Galaxy. We've been doing it for the last few years, probably 4 years. So we've been through both a bear market and we've been through a bull market. Surprisingly enough, I'm probably one of the few founders that has never sold his token for his own personal game. Still not. Probably is why I'm driving Clio 1.2. But I want to just go through what IG Galaxy is. So has anyone heard of IG Galaxy? Okay, so anybody who didn't have their hand up, right? Everyone, they're just paid shills. So I'm giving them crypto after this. So IG Galaxy is, you'll know, a sports platform. I call it a social competitive gaming platform where we facilitate online competitions. Anything for FIFA, Fortnite, Call of Duty, and we use blockchain technology to distribute cryptocurrencies or NFTs. We started back in like 2018, even 2017 when I was doing my masters, and we decided to start was an idea, which was to disrupt esports, and we created a token on the Tron ecosystem. Some of you might hear Tron. I know it's a bit questionable now, but we started on Tron, and that was ultimately based off the performance that we could distribute multiple rewards to hundreds of participants all at once. And I was still doing my master's, my final project, and we wrote a letter to the Tron community, and it basically just outlined our vision, our sort of experience, which was very little, and so the risks. When we released it, we ended up hitting our soft cap within 17 days, which was mental. I had my dad, who was questioning everything of what I was doing, and wanted us to be a plumber, to then being, oh my God, Josh, this is amazing. I even got an extension on my university finally by a month because I think I absolutely stunned my lecturer because he had no clue what blockchain was in the first place. But fast forward, now we end up moving over to Polygon. Sensational team, sensational ecosystem, and we've built quite a lot over here. And some of the stuff we built, right? We're a competitive gaming system, so ranked tournaments, leaderboards, prizes. We've got our own custom tourney creator. So if you've got your own token, your own community, NFT project, you can come onto our platform, you create your own esports tournament, and you can distribute your tokens. So if you want to come speak to me, we'll whitelist your token if you're on Polygon. And also your NFTs. So as well as Zealy, which are absolutely awesome project in terms of engaging with the community, there's our different way of doing it through gaming. And few of the suppose achievements or milestones. We were the first, and I know it's cliche when people say that, but we were the first NFT and crypto tournament creator. We've had over now about a quarter of a million profiles created on the platform, not signups, but actually created, 120,000 apps. Downloads. I'm not shill IG Galaxy anymore because we're not here for that. But bear or bull, friend or foe, right? And most people see bull market as like positives, and you see the bear market as negative, which somewhat is true. So this meme over here, right? Like bull market for us at one point I had, which was mental, at a £250 million market cap. Now our market cap is about 1 million, right? So it's a bit of a crazy world that is Web3, but that's what it was in the bull and the bear. In the bull, my CTO, Jamie, who sat there, walked through the streets of Manchester with a ledger with about $80 million of crypto, which was actually liquid most. And you'd think he had an escort, right? He had some sort of James Bond suitcase or whatever else, right? No, it was concealed in a Sainsbury's carrier bag. But this is the space. In the bear market, I've seen 7 figures wiped overnight, what we were holding. It was awful, but it also makes you very resilient. In the bull market, like some people, which was amazing, for me. We're using our platform in developing countries in Africa and Asia. We're able to make hundreds of pounds just playing in our tournaments. Moderating, just going through disputes, which is awful, but they were going through moderating and making hundreds of pounds in the bull market. You see the same with Axie Infinity. These people over in Asia, right, were playing these games and funding their whole families. And this was in the bull market, changed lives, and that's some of the financial freedom. But as I alluded to, bull market is not always buttercups and daisies, and that's because there's a lot of kind of available cash and a lot of opportunists, and sometimes greed's very rampant. And I have experienced some of the sort of not so good individuals sometimes on my journey, and that comes from community members, that comes through sort of team members, founders, partners. Like one of our community admins actually pretended to have cancer, right, and scammed our community now thousands of pounds just because there was loads of money available, and some of our community was sending thousands of pounds to him because we'd made this amazing community, but he went forward and did it, right. I've seen founders that raised, I think was around £30 million, went on holiday for 6 months, came back and hired some kind of big executives, spunked a lot of money, and then had one game developer working on this game. Absolutely madness. But there is also a beauty of it, right? Because there's complacency, and as I said there's all this hype around the bull market. But once that kind of token price disappears, there's these founders, these projects can't really hide behind anything. And then it becomes to the actual, what are they building, right? And then for you builders, when it comes to the bear market, it becomes quite a positive. And that's where you end up sieving through gold, right? The best projects come to the top. The actual builders, the founders, have a bit more of the limelight. It's no longer all these hype projects, all these people that are good at talking. It's the ones that actually have substance behind what they're doing. They have actions behind what they've said. And that begins to give those individuals or teams a real opportunity. And that kind of, for us, even from when we started, and that was out of my bedroom where I had a fridge, my mom's old fridge door, right? Post-it notes all over the place. And I started that way, where we had these fresh ideas come into the market. But that was in the bear market, and other communities have this sort of hunger to see new ideas, new teams to come forward. So it gives you actual opportunity as a founder. Everything in Web3 really, and without the bear market, I wouldn't be standing here today, right? Obviously, but it gives you that resilience, it gives you that determination, and you really have to believe in the industry. If you don't believe in the industry, you don't believe in blockchain technology and what it's going to do, then you're not going to get absolutely obliterated on a daily, weekly basis sometimes in the bear market, because Bitcoin's decided to plummet, and so is your token price. But it really gives that sort of determination. And while obviously our team, the guys over there, have been battered and bruised, we're still here. I'm still here. And all this, what we've built, I've never actually raised any money through VCs, angel investors, which give me this opportunity that I would never ever have, this reprobate from Newcastle, to then go forward to speak to the likes of the biggest blockchain projects and Polygon, and dropping in DMs on calls with Sandeep. All these things just would never ever be in my dreams. But because of this technology, because of this movement, it gives individuals that would never have that opportunity the opportunity. Hey, I only had 5 slides, but you're right about speaking of right. So the learnings from Web3 rollercoaster, just more of a, if you're thinking about starting your own project, or you have started, some of my, I suppose, recommendations. Try to think of things that maybe you might have not have heard or thought about. As you see there, decentralized democracy, what Lisa did an absolutely amazing talk before on. So manage expectations. A lot of Web3 projects are usually very reactionary to the community, and some of it's amazing, but sometimes it becomes quite a big distraction. You have all these norms. When we started, the norm was to have your light paper, right? And then within your light paper, you had your roadmap, and then you had to have certain dates, and that was just the norm of it. Then you had to have your monthly reports. So then your community then has this sort of expectation that that's what you need to deliver. So you end up going forward and trying to please your community rather than actually focusing on your product. And we shot ourselves in the foot when we first started. I asked my business partner at the time. I wanted 2 months to plan out everything with my developers, my designers, and somehow an article got out, which wasn't signed off, that said that we were going to build a beer in 8 weeks. So we were chasing our tails from the very start, and it meant that like we ended up being very reactionary. We always wanted to please the community, and it took us so long after that first sort of mistake, really, probably a year and a half, until we were actually able to kind of control more the narrative in our community. Emotional fortitude, that is a big one, right? And as well as you do it in any, some of it, I think the biggest one is in football, but I'll go on to in a second. When I first started this, before I even left my parents' house, I moved back when I was doing my master's, we just we hit the soft cap in 70 days. I already had a Reddit or subreddit about me. It was about someone had spent, I don't know, it's madness, but about 600 words on me, how I was going to be a scammer, and that I was going to steal everybody's money, and I was going to go and live on in Barbados or Maldives. But that, I don't know, I wish I did. I wish I did. And that was like the first sort of experience I had of somebody coming and not understand the technology or what the potential was, or not even actually seeing who I was or the team. We started kind of gaining a bit of traction, so people outside of the space see what we were doing outside of Tron ecosystem. So there was somebody, I don't know if you're big into esports, but there's a guy called Red Eye. So he was big in the Dota 2 community. He was part of the Netflix documentary. He kind of orchestrated a lot of it. That guy told his 200,000 followers on Twitter that my project was a scam project, and that we were doing everything that was against esports. And I had people attacking me in my DMs. I didn't help myself, because then I told him that him and the rest of the dinosaurs that he was rubbing shoulders with will be crying in a few years when all the brands adopt this technology. And look at Fortnite and Nike. The recent news is exactly doing that. But that is what I came across, right? Because we were just in the space, and this was that stigma that was attached. And probably you guys, some of you would have thought that when you first heard about cryptocurrency, blockchain, it was like funny money, like a lot of scams, and some of it was rife. But we as founders, as CEOs, as teams, we had to like kind of take the brew of it, right? And it made me have thick skin. And then that's not even taking into consideration my community. Like, they're running a Web3 project is very much like a football club, right? You have the fans that are very passionate with your kind of project, right? Just like I'm a Newcastle fan, I'm passionate about Newcastle and the players, right? But when you're not doing good, man, online, how bad are some of the fans? How fickle are some of them, right? And that's how sometimes it feels. You could be doing you could have built an amazing product, right? You could have monthly active users, like 50,000 monthly active users on your platform. Experiences unbelievable, but then Bitcoin and the rest of the market dips and crashes, and then you're to blame. You've got thousands of people in one Telegram group just well, not all of them, but some of them blaming you for the token price going down. And you'll never be able to please everyone, because some people buy at the bottom, buy at the top, right? And they sometimes go on as though you've had a gun to the head to say buy, and in reality it's not the case. And we have to grow up some thick skin. And I think that's where imposter syndrome, just in startups, just in business, just in real world, right, is rife. But in Web3, sort of founders community, there is a lot of it, and I speak to a lot of them. And that is obviously regarding to like what I've just went through there. But the other side that you have to look at is, like, if you do it, which is honestly the best thing I ever done, you probably is the 1% of the 100% that would actually go and try this, like step out and actually take the risks, and you'll be rewarded for doing so. You are building in a glass house, and while that is sometimes annoying because you get scrutinized for every single decision, you're also accountable for your decisions. So like, it becomes quite a positive thing. And that is the emotional fortitude, decentralized democracy, what Lisa did an amazing talk on, and what I suppose we're transitioning into is that we have our own token, and over the years our token holders have staked, and they've received another token called Orbs, And what we've done is allowed them to use their orbs to vote for different proposals within our ecosystem. That, I believe, is amazing because it's actually empowered them, it's give them ownership. And it's actually shifted responsibility from like myself, because instead of having to make every single decision, it actually allows them to have that voice. Like, it's really hard to sift through every single comment on Telegram, every single comment on Twitter and everywhere else, where this actually allows them to actually come together on Discord because they've got the amount of tokens to vote, or they've got a GFT, and they in their Discord, they can talk together and they then can come forward and put proposals, and we can actually do it properly and effectively. And as Lisa went through, it's actually really, really an amazing thing. And that's something that we're going to be transitioning more into. And I hope it's going to have a really good impact with the community as we build it. And then tokens, I can't lie, that's how I've felt over the years sometimes. Like, I'm trying to climb a mountain, but then I have this kind of chain and ball attached to me. And that's because as much as my effort might go into the product and marketing, the token is like a separate entity. It's a separate business. You can, as I've said to you before, you haven't built an amazing product, but ultimately the market condition says otherwise, and there's nothing you can do to actually change that. You might have some whale that's bought a load of tokens and then decides to dump at some crazy time, and you just can't control it. But at the same time, it can give you amazing opportunities. And as went through in previous talks, it allows everybody to win it. And I've always said to my team, I said to my community, like, what is the point of success if you can't share it? And that's what Web3 is. Like, these what tokens do. It allows you to share that if it's managed right and the founders go forward and do it correctly. And that's why, me personally, I've never sold any of my tokens, because I just don't think it's right. Ultimately, I have to add the value to my token holders, my community first, before I do it. Other founders haven't done so, but the right ones are coming forward, and you'll see in the bear market, the best guys will be at the very top. So Web3 horizon, so two sides. One, if you were setting up your own project, and one like in terms of the industry as a whole. So product first, as I've got a few screenshots here, one being so rare, as you probably know already, the unicorn, and I've done a sensational job. They're not just mimicking what is fantasy football, they've actually added more experience to the users. They've offered something that isn't there in the world, and is why they're at where they're at. It's why they've just got Premier League on board, and why their user base is growing consistently. I've got known origin, not just because I'm trying to brown nose Andy over there, but it's actually, they got acquired by eBay. Like, they went product first, what they built, and they're getting the fruits of the labor. And I'm biased, I put IG Galaxy because that's my project. But we've went forward with and focused on like a seamless onboarding for users. We focused on actually the product being front and center, and without that, Web3 projects will die. And you'll see it a lot, right? I know I've probably went over my timeline, but the Web3 projects, they always have a expectation to list on exchanges, right? And some of them, like Binance, Coinbase, Coinly, they have this expectation, and then they have to go and pay. Some of them have to pay the money. Where we got offered to pay £250,000 to list our coin. Then you have market makers on top, which is like per week. It can be tens of thousands of pounds. It can be with one, but it also can't be. And we decided to put all our money into the product instead, into the team. And that's what really projects should do. And when you see these projects that are product first and focused on not hyping up, saying we've listed here, this is our partnership, then these are the ones that are really going to move forward with. And the next wave, of adoption in Web3, I see is the Gen Z, Gen Alpha. My nephew last Christmas asked my cousin for V-Bucks, if you probably know what that is, on Fortnite. Didn't ask for trainers, didn't ask for BMX, asked for V-Bucks. And that V-Bucks is for him to buy digital skins on a game that has no performance enhancements. And that's all he wanted. That mindset is the mindset very much for Web3, right? Obviously, we've got our tokens, we've got NFTs, and we've got all these games where they have digital items, but they're actually owned. And you see this now with Nike and Fortnite. I don't know if you've seen that announcement more recently. And they haven't alluded to what actually, well, they've alluded to it, but they haven't said exactly what they're doing. But Nike's already got their NFTs where you can buy virtual shoes, right? And Fortnite haven't got the game, right? They've got basically the metaverse in a way in terms of what they've built. So then you can see now how these virtual items can then be collected in a gamified manner and owned by the players. And that's what we're going to see more and more of. And the target is going to be this sort of the Gen Z or Gen Alpha, as they say. Taking on, as opposed to my last part really, and what I wanted to say, finally, I just see this like move represents like a massive opportunity in terms of where we're going, and ownership is going to be key. Eventually, these games, these Web3 games, where you've probably seen a few, right at the start, they were dead games, right? But these games that are getting built by the guys over there, and by goals and the likes, they're starting to level up in terms of the gaming experience, right? So you take Fortnite, you take Call of Duty, FIFA. Eventually, these games are going to have the exact same amount of gaming or entertainment value. And at that point then, players, gamers have to then take the decision, are they going to pay, so for example, FIFA, or like if I'm a semi-pro, pay £10,000 into my ultimate team, and then the game gets reset every single year and I lose that money, or I get my account banned and I lose everything, or I choose this said game and all the money that I put into it, all the time that I put into it, I can take out at any point, I can sell on a third-party marketplace, and when the project does well, like my digital items also do well in terms of flow price. And when you give them that decision, or you give them that opportunity, that decision, then I believe it's pretty obvious that they're going to be choosing that side. And it also means that interoperability too. So like these games will be able to partnership and cross collab into different worlds where they can take their digital items they collected in one game and move it into the other game. It becomes really, really interesting. There's no longer this battle of games, but actually kind of a collective ecosystem, which is what Web3 is. So that is me today. IG Galaxy is what we've built so far. We are moving into a bit of a different horizon where we're following similar to what Fortnite and Nike is doing, where we're merging gaming, sports, and Web3. And if you want a piece of that, you think it's interesting, exciting, you've got a checkbook at the ready, you're a VC or an angel investor, then we're raising money at the minute. So please come and give me a shout if that is the case, and we can talk. My QR code's there, so scan it. Hopefully it works. And yeah, thank you very much for listening today.